San Francisco 49ers Trent Williams is on his way back to the Bay. And you know what that means? That means the Alpha Dog is returning to the San Francisco 49ers to sign his contract extension and will have him slated for a week 1 return versus the Jets. Obviously, it's 7:20 in the morning. I never go live this early. But the reason why we're going live this early is obviously because of this news, but this all came down late last night, and we're going to talk about how we got here to right now to this phenomenal news that has Trent Williams getting ready to sign a contract extension. We'll let you know everything you need to know, how this came about, the behind the scenes look at how Trent Williams signed his contract. We'll talk about all those different things. You already know the vibes, though. I need all y'all in the chat. Drop an SDS. Get your toasted sourdough bread going this morning. Drop your SDS. We have some phenomenal news to talk about. So let's get into it all right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Well, good morning to you all. We don't normally do morning shows on this particular channel, but right now it applies. And I got my coffee in me. I'm off 2 hours of sleep, just so you know. So if I say anything a little crazy, that's probably why. But I'm going to tell you why I'm only off 2 hours of sleep, and it has to do exactly with this Trent Williams situation. So we know what the current setting is. We'll get, and I'll explain it further. But let's take a trip back in time. Let's talk about why we are here and how we got here today. And before we even get into that, good morning to all of you. Hopefully you guys are you woke up with some fantastic news. But if you didn't wake up with this and you're like me and you were up for no reason at an ungodly time in the middle of the night, this is what you would have saw. So this is how the story goes. I was scrolling through my Instagram. I happened to follow Trent Williams' brother, Fred Williams. So we've been a mutual following each other for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years now. Feels like a long time. So I'm scrolling through, and this is actually what I see first. I see this, and I'm like, oh, is that right, Fred? We're posting the money tongue out emojis. So I DM him back. I send like 17 side eye emojis. He liked it. And then I was basically like, man, I hope this is an early sign of what's to come. He liked that message. Like, okay, well that's good. I like where this is headed. And then a couple hours after that, he drops this video of Trent Williams getting ready to board his jet. And in the caption, you can see below, says year 15, let's get it. So you're like, oh, this is absolutely about Trent Williams getting paid. So as a result of that, we had a little bit of a conversation. I posted this on social media, and as you wake up this morning, you'll see Schefter reposting these clips. You also will then find that not only is Schefter reposting these clips, but we got Trent Williams to the Bay. He is officially on his way to, I would actually say, based on the timing of everything, he's already in the Bay. He's already here. So 49ers Trent Williams will be in the building today. And that is what you are seeing being reported across the internet, is that Trent Williams, again, it's not finalized. It's been reported by some as being finalized. It's not finalized just yet. So I would imagine that they are going to be ironing out some kind of, back end information, regarding this particular deal. But the positive sign is that Trent and his representation felt good enough about where this was at to be able to, one, not only feel comfortable about posting about it, but to be able to fly back to the Bay as the San Francisco 49ers get set up to practice today. Today is a bonus practice because of the Monday Night Football game. The practice schedule is shifted back, but today they have a bonus practice. And obviously the things that we were talking about this week is Trent Williams going to be available for this game? From the reports that we had heard leading into this week, a lot of the things were about how Trent Williams definitely could miss games. And, to me, those were flares, those were signals that were being sent through the media of really hammering home of the serious nature of this. So the fact that we find ourselves now in a situation where Trent Williams is back in the Bay. I'm going to say he's back in the Bay already. And we'll be hammering out the final details of this contract is such phenomenal news. Shout out to my guy, Jason Dumas of Cron 4, who actually had this before Schefter put it out. Said Trent Williams' contract has not yet been finalized and nothing has been signed. So there are no numbers to report. That's why we haven't seen any contract figures or anything like that. But Trent and his representation did feel comfortable enough to fly to the Bay and will join the team today. So to reiterate, we are in a very, very good spot. We're not finalized yet, but this is exactly where we want to be with the Trent Williams situation. So I'm very, very ecstatic about this news. I think this is fantastic. I know there was a lot of just back and forth. And again, it was starting to become a situation again with this whole thing. But I'm super happy that the 49ers, Trent Williams and his group were able to get this thing as close as possible across the finish line, and will have us most likely with Trent Williams suiting up in red and gold for the San Francisco against the Jets. So fantastic, fantastic situation. I'm assuming that this all gets finalized today, and we will have a much better understanding of what the contract looks like. If I had to project out what's to be expected, is I would believe that Trent Williams will be named as the highest paid left tackle in the game. And on top of that, with that 3 years remaining on his deal, he will get a lot more guaranteed money, and he will take the crown of being able to be the number one paid tackle in the NFL. Lisa said, Brad looks so tired. Listen, I'm on 2 hours of sleep. when I saw Trent Williams' brother post that on his social media, I made a video at like 3:15 in the morning. that actually I had scheduled to post. That actually scheduled to post it at about 6:15, uh, and Schefter actually was able to, kind of, I guess, break the news officially a little bit before that. So, hey, when things get out there quickly, man, people are gonna want to find out, and so it's pretty reminiscent of Trent Williams' first contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers when Trent posted to his social media that he was getting paid. I remember that situation like the back of my hand, just like it was yesterday. Was first to timeline with that, first to timeline with this one. So I'm just happy though that Trent is getting taken care of and will receive a massive, massive payday from the San Francisco 49ers. A very, very well deserved payday. Obviously, again, this is about guaranteed money. It's about getting Trent Williams the ability to have that security and be able to play for multiple more years. So I think that's the best news that you can take away from this is you are going to have most likely Trent Williams on the blind side of Brock Purdy for years to come. And that has got to be music to your ears. And honestly, if we take a look at it all and we look at what the 49ers have done just this offseason and uh, basically what you are starting to project out is, we do know there is going to be some changes to this team's roster construction coming on up. We know that there's multiple free agents and of course contracts that might have to be reevaluated. So what we're kind of seeing right now is we're kind of seeing what the foundation of what we'll call 49ers roster 2.0, effectively meaning this is what we're seeing now is part of the first iteration of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan building a sustainable plan over multiple years and then getting to that inflection point where you have to pay a franchise quarterback, which is good news. I love saying that. Oh, we have to pay a franchise quarterback. Shucks. Darn it. Darn it. We got to pay a franchise quarterback how much money? I don't care. We got a franchise quarterback to begin with. Shout out to Brock Purdy. So what you're kind of seeing is the beginning stages of the foundation being laid for the 49ers roster 2.0 under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, because there's going to be a little bit of a reset. So we can already guarantee that CMC is going to be a part of that, that Brandon Ayuk is going to be a part of that, that Trent Williams will be a part of that, on top of Brock Purdy. So we're starting to set the foundational pieces for kind of what I guess we're calling for, or what I'm calling 49ers roster 2.0, the next iteration of how this team builds a long-term success and with what core that will be. Obviously, Fred Warner is a part of that. Nick Bosa is a part of that. And then we got to determine guys like Diamador Lenore, Charvarius Ward, Javon Hargrave, Aaron Banks. We got to go down the list to determine who will be a part of 49ers roster 2.0. But the fact that we can go to bed knowing that Brock Purdy will have Trent Williams on taking care of his blind side is a great feeling to have. And just I'm very pleased because I think we were talking about this yesterday, right? We were talking about the current setup and uh it's like, oh man, it does feel like things aren't going in the right direction. We talked about that just yesterday. But let's take a look at a trend that we got here. When we said that the situation with Brandon Ayuk was looking real ugly, the whole situation, how it played out with him expected to practice to not practicing, et cetera, et cetera. We're like, oh, it's hitting a real rough patch in a saga of rough patches. And then boom, Brandon Ayuk gets paid. Well, started to hit a rough patch with Trent in a negotiation that was mostly optimistic and how it was discussed. And then boom, now it sounds like we're going to get a deal announced today with Trent Williams and the San Francisco 49ers, most likely keeping him in the Bay to end his career. To me, that's, I think, one of the more special aspects of this is we will be able to retire Trent Williams as a member of the San Francisco 49ers. And that is a phenomenal feeling because Trent Williams is not only, and I've been saying this since 2021, and it slowly has caught on a little bit more steam. But I do believe Trent Williams is the best player in the NFL. And it's been something that I've been very adamant about, pounding the table over. Any chance I get to say Trent is the GOAT is what I will say. So, you can look right over my shoulder. You see that 7? That's a Trent Williams jersey. I believe in with my full heart that Trent Williams is probably the best player. Obviously, it's hard to quantify when you start talking about quarterbacks versus tackles, and the quarterback position is always going to be the most important position in all of sports, so it's always going to be weighted that way. But when you talk about what pound for pound, what Trent Williams brings to the table, he is that guy. And I've also not only been adamant saying he's the best player in the NFL, I believe he is the best offensive lineman of all time. And that even does, I do believe that applies even without being able to watch some of the greats of the past. You can just see when you flip on the tape and you watch what Trent Williams is doing. You watch how he's helping revolutionize the position. You guys know I've been talking a lot about Trent Williams' technique for multiple years now. And the thing is, one of the things that I would always talk about, especially early on in 2020 and 2021, was why can't we implement this technique across the board with offensive linemen? And I got a lot of pushback from people who are smarter than me about offensive line play. And they would just tell me it's just that Trent is Trent. He's a unicorn. You can't ask other people to do what Trent Williams does. And I believe offensive linemen across the NFL have proven that to be wrong, because one of the biggest trends that I have noticed is with offensive linemen who are technically sound, they have developed a bag of moves to help counter against what defensive linemen are doing. And that was one of my favorite traits about Trent Williams was he played offensive line like a defensive tackle. He was taking the moves to the defensive lineman. He was confusing the defensive lineman with what they thought he was going to do with baits, with double pass sets, with clubs, with snatches. He was taking the fight to the defensive lineman, and that is not how offensive line had been typically taught prior. And now you look across the league, I even see Colton McKivitz doing certain techniques that I had never seen him do before that are reminiscent of Trent. Trent Williams' impact to offensive linemen across the league is unmatched. I talked to Deion Dawkins at the Super Bowl, the left tackle for the Buffalo Bills. When I asked him about Trent Williams, you should have seen his face. He lit up like a Christmas tree talking about what Trent means to him, the technique. It was funny because there's a technique of Trent's that's my favorite. I call it his signature backside move. I literally don't know what it's called. I don't think it has a name because Trent is the only one who does it. And I've highlighted it many times, via clip and things like that. And I asked Dion Dawkins about like, well, what's something that stands out to you technically about Trent Williams' game? And he's like, there's this move he does that when he's on the backside of runs, he's able to club and snatch these guys to the ground with almost no effort. And I was like, that's my favorite move. I know exactly what you're talking about. He has helped instill a mindset and a different perspective into a generation of offensive linemen. And that is greatness. That is not only is Trent Williams a individually special player, but the way he plays the game is changing the mindset of a generation of offensive linemen. That is how important he is. That is how special he is. And those are the small things that he brings to this game where his way of playing is changing how others play and moving the position forward. And that is why Trent is so special. Obviously, he's a freak athlete. The dude, the way he can move at his size is absolutely insane. But again, he is probably one of the, if not the smartest players out there on the field on any given play with how he attacks, with how he goes about his business. So the 49ers keeping Trent Williams is a no-brainer. And now you have the opportunity to end one of the greatest careers of any football player that we have ever seen in the red and gold. And guys, cherish these moments. Cherish these moments. You are watching something that is special. And when I say that, like, obviously we know Trent is good, but we are watching something generationally special with Trent Williams. And it's been something that I've harped on for the longest time. And obviously, offensive linemen are slow to get love. I get it, but things have caught up. People are understanding. People get how important Trent Williams is to this team, to this game. And the fact that we get to call Trent Williams a 49er, most likely until the day he hangs it up, is a huge, huge honor for this franchise, for this brand, for this team, for the fans to be able to witness greatness on a day in, day out basis. So I'm so excited about this move. I'm through the roof with this one, man. 2 hours of sleep. Who needs sleep? When you start seeing social media posts around 2 in the morning about Trent Williams, you're like, oh, it's that time. It's that time to get it done. So after today is over, I am going to be absolutely fried, but I am going to push through because that's what the GOAT would do, that Trent Williams would push through. I'm going to push through just like our boy that is going to most likely be the highest paid left tackle in NFL history, and that is well deserved. I think that will be the second time, I believe, at least with the 49ers, the second time with the 49ers that Trent Williams will be considered the highest paid tackle in the NFL. How are we feeling, chat? Chat, are you awake yet? Chat, do you guys understand the importance of what is being done here? Chat, are we awake? You guys have your coffee yet? I know it's 7:45 for me on the West Coast. Obviously, if you're on the East Coast, you've probably been up for a little while. But all my West Coasters, you awake yet? Wake up! We got Paul checking in from across the pond. It's only 3:45. Let's go. Hey, what great news to wake up to, man. Amazing. Right? this this is probably this might be the second time you've woken up to Trent Williams contract news as a member of the San Francisco 49ers. So Trent likes to work at night, dude, and it's really actually kind of funny because if you know anything about Trent, he has a Silverback documentary. I would definitely go check it out if you haven't watched it. His story is remarkable. But Trent Williams literally does this thing where he works out at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And he talked about the mentality, he talked about the process. He's like, I wanted to know that I'm putting in work when everyone else is sleeping. This dude's built different. He's built different, man. He is one of a kind. He's one of one. He's the silverback. Um, I feel because you guys know I am a offensive line aficionado. I love breaking down offensive line tape. I love watching offensive line play. And so the fact, I feel so blessed to be able to watch and study Trent Williams week in and week out. It's that's how special of a player he is that when I turn on the tape, it's an out of body experience. It's like, yeah, we got Trent Williams cooking today. So just great news, great development. How everything is coming together. I'm glad that this didn't head and kind of leak into the weekend. I think that would have been a bummer. But because of this current timing, we are now going to be able to get Trent Williams a week of practice. That means he's going to be able to be up to speed with all the new wrinkles that have potentially been implemented into the offense. Hey, Trent Williams is going to be able to meet some of the rookies for the first time. Oh, no. He was there for minicamp. I lied. He was there for minicamp. So he has met the guys. But we haven't seen him since minicamp. And so I just heard Brock Purdy say, "Thank you, God." Hey, man. Hey, we've been getting blessed recently, man. The way everything played out with Ricky Pearsall, getting Brandon Ayuk signed, getting Trent Williams back. Huge. Feels good. Feels great. Feels fantastic that the San Francisco 49ers locking up Trent for a while. There was some additional news. Might as well touch on it while we're live right now. With not only with the Trent Williams stuff, we also found out from Ian Rappaport that Christian McCaffrey will return to practice today. So, more good news. Christian McCaffrey will be back in the lineup for the San Francisco 49ers after being out for effectively a month with a calf injury. And now CMC will be returning. So man. Um, it's a rough off season. It's rough. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say this is probably the roughest off season on books, and we've had some crazy ones. Um, it's actually crazy to say that because I would say some of the quarterback controversy off seasons were pretty challenging, but I think this one takes the cake in regards to especially the way everything has played out in like the last 72 hours, the last I don't know, week. Just a lot of stuff has really come to fruition. But again, sometimes sometimes adversity can do something for you. So I'm not opposed to adversity. Obviously, adversity sucks, and it's not something that you totally want. But the thing with adversity is it has a way of hardening you. It has a way of building a mental callus. And if there's anything that the 49ers could use right now is more of a mental callus as they get prepared for another big season where we understand what's at stake. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for keeping Trent. I'm excited for the guys getting healthy as we get prepared for week one. I feel like now we can finally put the off-season contract drama behind us. We can during game week, we can finally focus on the game. It's been an uh absolutely unbelievable situation. And I'm just really happy that we were able to get this thing, or we're close to getting this thing across the finish line, and we can get something taken care of here. So, whew, deep breaths, people, deep breaths. We can breathe. Jeez, unbelievable. Exactly. Excited that Ricky's doing well. Absolutely. Oh, what's good, Chrissy? Um, I'm just happy about everything right now. Feeling pretty good. It's a good day to be a Niner. I think it's going to be even better when we find out that he's officially signed and we can discuss in length exactly what that looks like. So, um, yeah, great stuff. Great stuff, baby. So obviously, it's not even 8 o'clock yet on the West Coast. So there's going to be plenty of things to discuss throughout the day. Obviously, we'll probably looking for Trent Williams contract information probably about midday to maybe towards the afternoon. If it happens before that, great. So again, have your post notifications on because the second we get all the details, the second it's officially in the books is when obviously we will be able to really celebrate this. But I'd say what we've gotten and what we've gotten today is enough to celebrate. I mean, the Trent Williams is back. He's back in the building. So if you need an indication of where we're at with that, yeah, I'd say that's a strong indication. So, but we're not officially done yet. So there's still news to be on the lookout for today. And very excited to get into all of that. So appreciate everyone for tapping in today. Smash that like button on your way out. Grab your cookies on the way out. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. And I appreciate all you guys, as always, for all your support and being a part of the Sourdough Squad. I definitely will be back today for more. We're just getting started. So appreciate all you guys. I'm out. I'll be back later though. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.